On today's video on the Hip Hop Theology channel, I'm going to break down Lecrae's third single for his newest album, Restoration, which is set to come out in August. It's called Drown. I'm going to analyze a little bit. It has John Legend, so of course it's caught a lot of people's attention, and of course we expect some good vocals from John. We expect kind of a soulful type song I would expect with Lecrae and John Legend. But this is the second single in a row where Lecrae uses water imagery in the track, usually to symbolize a burden on the soul, so like some type of weighing down or sinking or despair. And that's really interesting because this theme of water and being under the pressure of it seems to be something that's really spoken to him lately. And I wonder how much we expect to see that in the album. So kind of without further ado, I want to get into breaking down the track itself. So here we go.
Tell me that you never let me down, down, 'cause you're my final breath before I drown, drown.
The chorus sounds very John Legendy, if that makes sense. You know, he melts with this instrumental really well, but John Legend's voice kind of has that kind of round-ish sound where his voice is kind of alto-ish, but it gets higher, but almost nasally, and you can just hear that kind of permeate through the track in any song that he's in. I wasn't a big fan of it when I first really heard his songs, like Ordinary People. I could tell it was a good song, but his voice never really did his thing for me, which is a whole other thing. That's like another discussion that I don't want to get into, but it sounds very John Legend, if you are familiar with this music at all. But speaking on the instrumental, is very spacey, kind of gives an open atmosphere type deal. You can definitely feel like you're underwater or you're in an aquarium, and that's the feel that this song gives. Even with just the instrumentals make you think of water. And then as you can see, the video is showing you all that imagery of being underwater, just like Deep End did, and all these images of people crying and sadness and, you know, circumstances that are revolving the world to this day. So let's keep going. Let's hear the rest of the track.
I'm drowning, lost in this world with these waves all around me, deep in the darkness where it's heartless. I don't know if I can make it, I'll be honest.
So Lecrae starts out this track talking about drowning, and so literally the first two lines you hear is I'm drowning, and the idea of drowning, you know, obviously you're in water and your lungs are filling up with liquid and you can't breathe, but also drowning is imagery that's used to describe the fact that you are being weighed down or that you can't handle the circumstances that are around you right now. And Lecrae really, he's kind of embodying that thought, those ideas. Even his video, he said, lost in this world with these waves all around me, deep in the darkness where it's heartless. And it's like, okay. Like, I see that, Lecrae.
I'm faded, trapped and I feel like it ain't no escaping. Down to the bottom, all these problems got me drinking, might drown in this bottle, all this drama got me thinking.
And you can think that by saying, you know, I don't know if I can make it. And just, I think that's the idea. That's what despair does to you. That's what feeling a burden does to you. When it weighs on you, it's hard for you to think, to get yourself out of what's going on. And that's a real deal.
If I had one call, would you answer it? Or would you take back all of your promises? 'Cause I don't know who to turn to or who to trust. I don't know who to turn to or who to trust. So.
Man, the theme continues, like the theme of struggling to the point where the future outcomes of your life seem uncertain. It just returns in this track. And I say returns because in Deep End, we kind of got that same idea, but that was more so on speaking about racial injustice in America and how that's impacted Lecrae on a personal level and how that almost sent him off the deep end. You know, obviously, when it comes to that topic and dealing with the church and the white evangelical church and the relations with the black church and just so many things that are unresolved that are not talked about well, and has led to these tensions, these things that don't get talked about well enough. It's almost a part two to Deep End, but not quite, because it's talking about a different thing. I think this is more so just dealing with pain in general, whereas Deep End was about dealing with the pain of racial injustice in America. And so this idea where he finishes down to the bottom, all these problems got me drinking. So he's sinking, he's drowning, feeling trapped at the bottom of the water. He's down, and like some people, as we see, people start to medicate pain by doing drugs or alcohol. And in this case, he's symbolizing that here, like, they got me drinking, I might drown in this bottle. So bringing that imagery back of liquid and water and drowning, but in the context of alcohol, all this drama, as he says, got me thinking. So he's going through all these pains, and sometimes drowning in alcohol is the medication for it. And as we know, that's really rough.
Tell me that you never let me down, down, 'cause you're my final breath before I drown, drown.
You know, I noticed here that Lecrae in the pre-chorus or the pre-hook here, he transitioned to a John Legend's chorus really well here. He goes, "Cause I don't know who to turn to or who to trust. I don't know who to turn to or who to trust. So," and then John Legend comes back in, "Tell me that you'll never let me down." So that was a really good transition. I like what they did musically there. And even during as those lyrics were going across the screen, if you're watching the video, you also see the images of Nipsey Hussle and Kobe Bryant and like hurricanes and the damage done by natural disasters affecting the world. You can kind of see some of the pain that Lecrae's talking about, seeing this evil that's happening in the world, seeing bad things happen. It's taking a toll on him, and that's something that kind of gets led to the outpouring of this song. And it makes sense that John Legend would be on this type of track. He's known for making humanitarian type songs and about issues that people should address, especially about uplifting people and bringing them out of bad situations. So Lecrae and John Legend collaborating on this type of track, it actually makes a lot of sense. And so let's just keep going.
You're my last resort when it's too late. Who takes my pain away? So tell me that you never let me down, me down.
And I just wanted to stop for a second and actually point out what's going on in the video there, or at least just highlight the fact that I like the imagery, what they're showing there. They see a person down on his knees, kind of hands on the ground, head low, looking down the ground, and the rain is actually just outpouring and falling on him. And I think that's just furthering the symbolism of what's going on in the track itself. So that's something that I think I like the way Lecrae, at least in his videos lately, and I think he's done this for the most part in his career, where the videos actually they emphasize the message of the song, and they really bring out what you're supposed to take away from it. So just some good stuff there.
Come save me, 'cause I've been in way over my head lately. Shane got me sinking, going off the deep end. Heartache took my breath away, now I'm barely breathing in.
I like the sound of the way the second verse came in. You know, obviously he did the same thing he did at the beginning of the first verse. So some nice continuity there with the repeat of the first line, "Come save me, come save me." But then he goes into the kind of picking up the cadence a little bit. He says, "Cause I've been in way of my head lately. Shane got me sinking, gone off the deep end." The way he sung or changed the cadence of sinking, he made it sound like the vowel structure of deep end. And I like just this little technical rhyme thing he did there that adds to the value of the sound that you're hearing, making it, you know, a nice thing to catch on to rather than just a generic sound. Also, that's a reference to the last track, the second single, Deep End. I've been going off the deep end. So that imagery of the water and going off the deep end and experiencing pain and how it's affected him personally, it's even showing up in the lyrics again. So we'll just keep going.
I'm hoping, 'cause this the only thing that keeps me sober. I feel like I'm losing it, like what am I doing here? I need you to bail me out, I need you to pull me out.
And some good things going on right there, because he goes, I'm hoping. And then the hope, he says, is what keeps me sober. So if you're connecting that to the end of the first verse where you're talking about drinking to medicate, it's like the thing that stops me from trying to drink to medicate is holding on to the hope that I have in Christ, you know, knowing who I am. And feel like I'm losing it. Like I have this hope, but I'm being pulled in all these different directions. A lot going on here. He said, what am I doing here? I got to ask that question. And I like the kind of the ending thing he does here. Lecrae does this fairly common enough. You just got to listen to it or listen for it in tracks, but he'll make a nice little flip on some words or some things that make you think a little bit, just a little bit of a cleverness to make you appreciate it. So the ending bars here, this verse is, I need you to bail me out. I need you to pull me in. And so, of course, bail me out is the image of being in jail. And when you are in jail before you go to your trial and like get a court case and all of that, you know, you can pay for bail to be out of jail while you're waiting on that date to come. And so to bail me out, you can pull it out of your cell. You're getting pulled out of being trapped. You know, you're pulled out of the situation that you're in. But then he follows it up with, so that's out. He specifically says, bail me out, and I need you to pull me in. So the contrast of out and in, but don't pull me back into bondage. Don't pull me back into the cell, back into the pain. He's telling Jesus, I need you to pull me in, because that's actually freedom. So just that contrast of bailing out and being pulled in, I like that. I love simple stuff like that. It's just poetry. And then, of course, as that pre-chorus was going on again with Lecrae and John Legend, they were once again showing images of different things that are painful to him, just how people struggling. And then I saw the lasting image there, Pop Smoke, who died earlier this year when people broke into his home to steal, and they killed him. If you don't know who Pop Smoke is, he's a rapper who's coming up. He's a young guy who's doing fairly well. Probably the name was about to get really big, and unfortunately, his life was taken from him. And this is just one of the pains that Lecrae and John Legend are expressing here in the track. And then as I'm watching here, they're just showing Lecrae dancing in front of the mic, which I think is kind of funny, actually. I feel like it doesn't really fit the other seriousness of the video. I kind of get what they were going for there, like, you know, dancing in the rain, you know, being okay during a downpour, but it feels almost like an ode to the old 90s R&B videos where people are always dancing in the rain. So it feels kind of weird here. But with that said, the videos in the background are really wholesome. It's showing situations where firefighters or rescuers are getting people out of drowning waters. And so that imagery is right on the nose. It's really just showing you like, yeah, we're talking about drowning, getting free from drowning here. And it's like, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and that's the song. Nice, simple song from Lecrae and John Legend. It's not bad. It doesn't sound bad at all. It's probably not the most exciting thing I've heard from Lecrae. Obviously, not the best track he's made, but it's just a nice, wholesome track, especially when you pair it up with the video. I don't know if I would throw it into the playlist a lot or hear it a lot of different times, but it's a good track. And I think this is ultimately a track that's probably more so for his pop or contemporary Christian audience, that ones that he has, especially the white contemporary Christian audience that he has, kind of feels like those type of songs that he has made in the past for those. It sounds like one of the ending tracks on the Anomaly album, which I believe is his best album. Actually, I love Anomaly, but specifically for the first half of the album, I really love Anomaly. But it sounds like kind of some of those latter ending tracks that really appeals to a certain audience, which isn't bad, by the way. It's just I can tell that this track is very different, sounds very different musically than Deep End or Set Me Free. Set Me Free had more of a gospel bend to it, and Deep End had more of a trap music, soulful sound to it, and this one sounded much more contemporary Christian or pop focused sound. So from the first three singles of the Restoration album, we've gotten three different sounds, even though they all kind of had some of that trap flow style and cadence in there, but the songs sound different. And so that's it for this. I tend to talk a lot, so I would try not to do that here. If you like this video format as opposed to what I normally do, let me know by liking the video, put some comments down, give me some suggestions of songs that you want me to check out or want me to break down. I would love to get to that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.